How's everybody doing this morning? Or afternoon, I guess it is now, huh? I am... Just give me a second to get things... Ooh, okay. Hang on one second. I'm going to turn my mic down that I can hear that I'm way too loud. Alright, test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, can everybody hear me now? I apologize if my microphone is being very difficult here. How does this sound to everybody now? Still sounds like static, doesn't it? Yikes. Okay, hang on one second. Let's try this one more time. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next audio conference. Give me just a second to get this squared away. Okay, let's see if that sounds better. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on now. Alright. Let's see. Let's see what we're doing here. Okay. Let's see if that fixes the problem. Apparently not. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh, come on. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's see here. I think these levels where they need to be. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we had a little bit of an issue with the computer here. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. An issue with the computer here. Okay, I think we're rolling. Awesome. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. An issue with the computer here. Okay, I think we're rolling. Okay, everyone. Joshua Nagelberg here. Sorry for the delay. Had some technical difficulties here with YouTube and the software I'm using to encode it. But if you are on right now, and I see some of you are, I'm going to go ahead and share this out so that everybody on our webpage can certainly take a look at what's going on. So let's do this real quick. Now streaming live. Cool. All right. Okay, so here's what's going on with Tropical Storm Isaias, and this is the visible satellite. The center of the storm is just east of southeastern Georgia right now, and I'm here to answer any of your questions, of course. Looks like you guys are on now, so I'm glad you weren't earlier. I saw Chris, you were on, and I apologize, Chris. Had some difficulties with my computer. It's trying to run 55 million things at once, and the microphone got hot, and you didn't want to hear that static, trust me. But anyway, okay, so now we're past those issues. We can see on the satellite there are definitely some intense thunderstorms blowing up here. You can see these cumulus clouds that are towering very quickly to the north and east of the center. However, on the south and west side of our storm, we still have a lot of dry air and some westerly wind shear. And that, I think, is the very reason that Isaias has not held on to hurricane strength this morning and into early this afternoon. Some of these storms that are blowing up on the northeastern side certainly have a chance of containing some of those wind gusts, we think, over 70 miles per hour. So that is the area that I'm most concerned with, but fortunately that is still out over water, about 90 miles east of the Georgia coastline. Across northeast Florida, a lot of dry air wrapping in on the backside, so we're not seeing much rain bands and much wind, surf either, so Florida has kind of escaped narrowly a bullet here. But a lot of thunderstorms out over the Gulf Stream, and that certainly is bringing in that moisture inflowing into the southeast side of our storm. So we definitely have a formidable sized tropical storm, may even be potentially strengthening as we get through the afternoon here. The Gulf Stream kind of runs like this, so it's still sitting out over that very warm Bath water, but as it gets closer to the coast, it kind of loses that, definitely that wind strength, or I'm sorry, that water temperature strength, so probably not going to gain any more wind strength, if that makes sense. So please go ahead and reach out to me with any questions or concerns. The latest advisory as of 11 a.m. Shows that Isaias remains a 70 mile per hour tropical storm. The intensities does make it a Category 1 hurricane with 75 mile per hour winds up until about landfall, and then some weakening gradually as it moves farther and accelerates to the north-northeast. But one thing I do want to point out about this situation is that the storm will likely not lose a lot of steam as it races off to the north-northeast. So strong tropical storm force winds are going to be a problem very well inland and over the coastal waters of the Outer Banks and the Sounds and across eastern Virginia, the Delmarva Peninsula, the Chesapeake Bay, and right on into southern New England. We're going to see a ton of water being pushed up on the eastern side of this storm system. So definitely a storm not to take lightly, even though it hasn't quite intensified to the strength we thought it might. And it's been kind of a complicated forecast for us in that we've seen a storm that's been fending off strong wind shear pretty much from the get-go late last week, but still maintains a strong tropical storm. And between you and me, the difference between a 70 mile per hour storm that's strengthening and an 80 mile per hour storm that's weakening really isn't that much. If you look at the forward speed and the fact that it's speeding up, as far as it moves north-northeastward and moves in at a quicker rate tonight and tomorrow, means it has some momentum that it's bringing that water in with it. So definitely a storm that we don't want to take lightly at this point, even though it maybe hasn't gotten quite as strong as a lot of our models forecasted it to a couple days ago or even last night. So Category 1, I think, is what's on the table. I will tell you, with the National Hurricane Center reading the recon data, it may actually be a little bit stronger in its forecasting than it actually is. However, there's still a window for intensification. In fact, the recon that we saw earlier in the day today showed that the pressures actually came up just a little bit, and the winds at flight level were not quite as strong as they were last night. So we kind of think here that maybe it was a hurricane last night and then weakened to a tropical storm this morning, and may actually be just a touch weaker than what the Hurricane Center is showing at its 11 a.m. advisory. However, watching those thunderstorm towers go up on the satellite and looking at the water temperatures here, that weakening phase is probably stopped, and we feel like there's one last gasp here for Isaias as it continues to move north-northeastward and intensifies here this afternoon and especially this evening. So I think in here is where it has its best chance of intensifying. I'm here to answer any questions you guys have. I am going to show you our forecast models. This is thanks to tropicaltidbits.com, getting a lot of use on our website. And you can see that the track of the storm is very well agreed upon over the next 24 hours, right on through the far eastern part of South Carolina and then southern North Carolina. Looks like around 1 or 2 in the morning with a landfall here very close to Calabash and Little River, South Carolina, so right on the state line, kind of where Hazel hit in 1954, but a different track and certainly not as strong a storm as Hazel. And then we look at a forecast track going across places like Kinston and Greenville and just east of Rocky Mountain, then it looks like just up toward maybe Jamestown, Virginia during the morning tomorrow, and then right on through the Chesapeake Bay and across Philadelphia, the Delaware River Valley, late tomorrow morning into about lunchtime hour tomorrow. So right around this time tomorrow, this system's already going to be up in Delaware and maybe up into Philadelphia. And then tomorrow afternoon crossing New Jersey, and then tomorrow evening moving up into eastern New York and western New England. So it'll be out of our hair as quickly as it's getting into our hair. I'm going to see if I can share my radar with you guys here. Yeah, okay, so now you can see it. This is the current reflectivity showing the center of circulation over here just to the east of Georgia. And what I'm going to do is show you guys what we're seeing on radar as far as wind speeds being measured by this radar out of Charleston. And I'm going to see if I can find you guys some more intense wind. So northeast of the center in the eye wall, we do have some velocities around 59 mile per hour, maybe even a little bit more intense than that. Let's see if we can find something a little stronger. There's 64 mile an hour. Winds on the radar, and you go up into this band and we also see some 60s, 63 at 66 mile an hour. So actually these winds are not as strong as the ones I saw on the Melbourne, Florida radar yesterday, where we saw some 75 to 80 mile per hour wind. So I don't think the storm is quite as intense as it was this last night about 12 hours ago, or even about maybe 16 hours ago. So that's a little bit of good news. But we do definitely still see some powerful winds at the radar height, and as this storm moves north-northeastward toward Charleston, certainly these wind speeds can come up. Let me go ahead and go back to the radar for you guys and put it in motion. And here is our center of circulation right here to the east of Fernandina Beach and actually maybe now Brunswick, Georgia. And you can see this motion north-northeast is going to take it east of Charleston this evening. Now the heaviest rain is already affecting Charleston, and I do think we are going to start to see some inundation of the harbor later this afternoon. So if you're watching from Charleston, you know how easily things flood. I think this evening we definitely could have some tidal flooding with a new moon and a high tide. We are also seeing some heavier showers and storms starting to get up into the Charlotte area. These are actually not really officially parts of Isaias, but definitely some lightning. Myrtle Beach, we're okay right now, but I think we'll start to see some showers and storms moving inland over the next couple of hours. Let me scroll up to the Columbia radar here. For those of you in Columbia and Irmo, you're catching a break. But yeah, some very heavy rain starting to move into southeastern Mecklenburg County. We do have some lightning strikes as well, maybe in places like Matthews and Pineville. For the most part, this heavy rain is going to stay right on the eastern side of Charlotte. So basically the I-85 corridor on eastward. It should be white-knuckle driving when you get up into Cabarrus County and up into, I think that's Rowan County, Davidson County. These counties in here are dealing with quite a bit of rain well out ahead of this storm system. Up at my house in Raleigh, we really didn't get much rain, but we did get a little bit of wind and lightning. And looks like Looks like as we get through the afternoon, the Piedmont Triad will get in on that heavy rain. Also back in the mountains, this is our approaching front. A lot of rainfall back toward Asheville, Brevard, Pisgah Forest, and to the west of Cleveland County. But at the coast right now, we should be okay. We did have a band of rain come in earlier this morning over the Wilmington area. More showers and storms, though, on the radar here, getting ready to come into Jacksonville and the Crystal Coastline. We could see some of that light rain spreading inland to the beaches where Jim Cantori is right now over in Wrightsville Beach. On the coast that's facing southward here, so basically Holden Beach, Oak Island, Ocean Isle Beach. Right now just a few showers coming in, but the wind really not going to pick up until late in the afternoon into this evening as well. So go ahead and hit me with any questions that you guys have. I'm happy to answer any of them. Alright, well let me show you guys our watches and warnings right now, and I guess the biggest change I saw this morning in Raleigh was that we were put under a tropical storm warning for all of Wade County. That also includes Harnett County, does not include Moore or Lee County at this point. We're under a tropical a flood watch, and tropical storm warning staying just to your east. But Richmond under a tropical storm warning, Baltimore and D.C. under a tropical storm warning, Philadelphia tropical storm warning, all of the 5 boroughs in New York City. And of course, we have hurricane warnings posted here for the northern coast of South Carolina and the lower coast of North Carolina and all these counties as well. That does include Pender County as well as New Hanover and Brunswick counties, Horry County as well, and South Carolina under a hurricane warning. And if you see our map that we have been showing on our Facebook page, let me see if I can find it for you guys here real quick. There we go. You can see the counties that are just on the eastern side of that hurricane warning. We're expecting some extreme, perhaps flooding, storm surge at the coast, and tornadoes. Tornadoes are something that definitely can be a danger to you while you're sleeping tonight. If you are in your home, you may want to go to the lowest level of your home if you do hear a tornado warning, and I would have your phones turned on tonight and have a NOAA weather radio handy in case you do lose power. But I definitely think this area overnight tonight is prime for some tornadoes, and that's why we have the extreme circled here. We may only see wind gusts of 60, 70, 75 miles per hour, but a quick tornado could cause a little bit more damage than that, maybe a 90 or 100 mile per hour gust coming out of this area. So if you are in these areas, and that goes all the way over to near Jacksonville and Camp Lejeune, and also up Interstate 40 all the way up to, say, Wallace and Warsaw, even getting close to Greenville and Kinston, we definitely have the risk for tornadoes overnight tonight and first thing tomorrow morning. I think we're going to see multiple tornado warnings. The reason why is that if we do show you, let me get back to that visible satellite, you see all these towering cumulus clouds on the northeast side of the storm. If you translate these up this direction and add in some rotational wind shear with the landfall of this storm, we definitely have the risk of tornadoes, and they're coming overnight, which is a dangerous time. I know many of you guys went through Florence, which this storm will not be, and you had lots of tornado warnings. We do expect to see something similar tonight, maybe on a slightly smaller scale. But definitely that's one thing I'm concerned with overnight tonight, and probably up to about sunrise tomorrow. And I do want to show you kind of our hourly high resolution model here, and we are going to go on here to about, this is 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. We start to see the risk for maybe some tornadoes in the Wilmington area, and then up into 2 in the morning, a risk for tornadoes from Wilmington on up to Topsail Beach, areas just inland, maybe getting into Pender County. And let me see if I can zoom in on this a little bit more for you guys, to show you what we're looking at. This is an enhanced tornado risk overnight around 3 in the morning. up the coast from Wilmington, so getting up close to the Crystal Coast and then inland areas of southeastern North Carolina. So I definitely think we got to be mindful of these tornadoes. This is actually a significant tornado parameter up to about 5 or 6, which indicates we could have tornadoes, and they'll be moving fairly quickly as well, maybe 25 to 30 miles per hour coming out of the south-southeast. So anyway, now we're getting some questions that I would like to answer for you guys. So yeah, True Love Aviary, we do not have a hurricane just yet. I think last night we did, but it wasn't upgraded. I think the best chance for hurricane intensification is going to be this evening and right up to about landfall at 1 in the morning. But we'll take a look here at sustained winds, and I do want to show those to you guys here. So let's go ahead to the surfaced wind gusts. So these are wind gusts in knots, so miles per hour is actually a little bit higher. And what we're going to do is show you the eye wall as it's coming in here, and some sustained winds around 70 miles per hour, maybe even 75, and wind gusts actually offshore are going to be close to 90 miles per hour, perhaps even higher if we have a tornado. This model actually shows 100 mile per hour wind gusts just offshore. Myrtle Beach is going to be feeling that around midnight. And then the strongest winds should start to let up a little bit, but we still have the potential for gusts in excess of 70 miles per hour inland from Wilmington. So for Raleigh, I don't think we're having any problems through 2 or 3 in the morning, Nightdale as well, but now we get to about 4 in the morning and the wind should start ramping up very quickly in Raleigh and Nightdale. I do think we'll have wind gusts, looks like in the 40 mile per hour range, maybe even 45 mile per hour range at 4 a.m. And what I can do is, this model doesn't go past 4 a.m., so we'll go back to the model run at 8 a.m. and show you what we're looking at, because not much has changed. And what we're looking at is probably the most intense winds for the east side of Raleigh and Nightdale are going to be around 5 or 6 a.m. Some wind gusts of 40 to maybe 50 miles per hour, but sustained, Amber, I don't think we're going to see wind gusts sustained at more than 40 miles per hour in Raleigh or Nightdale. I think our bigger problems are probably going to end up being heavy rainfall, and we could see quite a bit of that. But as you see this storm wrapping up and well inland, the winds actually are shown as intensifying as the jet stream is going to be drawing some of that stronger wind into the circulation. So this is going to be a rare scenario where the storm is actually strengthening inland, we think, and could cause a lot of problems for northeastern North Carolina around 8 or 9 in the morning, and then right up the mouth of the Chesapeake Bay, the Bay Bridge Tunnel, Virginia Beach, we could see wind gusts getting close to 70 miles per hour after sunrise tomorrow, as this system is going to have some jet stream intensification. And I can't really zoom in to show this to you, but these wind gusts are around 70 miles per hour, maybe even close to 75. So at this point, the storm is not going to be weakening too quickly, and a lot of backlash with it as it picks up that jet stream energy. So I think in southeastern Virginia, northeastern North Carolina, things may actually end up being worse than they will be down in here around Greenville, Wilson, and Rocky Mount. So that's something I do want to point out to you guys. And then as we bring this system up to North Carolina, and I don't know how accurate this is, but 100 mile per hour wind gust offshore. I mean, yeah, this could be a hybrid hurricane situation if it's picking up enough momentum from the jet stream. I think this model may end up being a little bit overdone when it comes to that, but I think we're going to see a ton of damage up through New Jersey. Maybe not quite the damage we saw during Hurricane Sandy, but in my mind, definitely significant damage to these beaches and here. Long Island, maybe some gusts over 70 miles per hour. So something I think the Hurricane Center needs to take a look at is the possibility of a low-level jet picking up the winds all the way up the coast into southern New England and lower New York as well. Anybody else have any questions? We're going to have to wrap this up here pretty soon. But yeah, definitely a dynamic storm system. I don't think the worst is here yet as far as what's going on with the storm. I think after it makes landfall, if this model is correct, it may actually pick up some intensity as it moves up the coast, and that's definitely something we're watching. The European and the GFS model don't pick up on some of these subtle changes, but we do think some of these more higher resolution models could. And I'm going to show you the NAM model as well, the NAM Nest. So we can take a look at winds here. Here we go, wind gusts. Here's our NAM Nest. Let me zoom out just a bit for you guys. So this is 11 o'clock tonight, and then midnight it's got landfall just up from Myrtle Beach. So again, anywhere from Myrtle Beach to Oak Island we think is where landfall comes. But you can see well inland these winds actually intensify, and at the coast we are seeing some very intense winds hitting parts of Delaware, New Jersey, and eventually Long Island as well. So if you have family up north, they're going to get hit with the wind at the coast and then hit with the rain, which I'm going to show you here in a little bit. Total precipitation.